and welcome to the League of Melanated Gentlemen podcast. I'm Spenser, and I'm one of your hosts on this podcast, and it brings me great joy to be with the gentlemen that are here today with me on this episode, because it's review season. There's too many shows, and we got to talk about some of them. So, here we are. Give you a little something. I'm going to let the gentlemen tell you who they are.
This is Brandon.
And this is Jordan.
Oh, but wait! Today, we have another gentleman with us.
This is Christopher Vu. Hello. Been here before. Great to be here.
Yes, Chris is back. If you remember the animated song Draft, then you have heard Chris's voice before. That was a great time. We really enjoyed having Chris on, and so we decided to have him on again.
Yep.
Chris,
Very
you good?
Yep. Very excited to be here, especially considering what we're reviewing today is near and dear.
Excellent.
The series.
I'm really glad to hear that. It should be a good one. Before we get into all of that, though, we must first do some housekeeping. Jordan, if you could please.
Yeah, of course. So, our regular episodes, LMG podcast, we drop on Mondays. I'm getting the scheduling out the way. We drop on Mondays. So be sure to check that out. And then on Wednesdays, we have Wrestling with Worldwide Willis. That is Brandon's podcast where he reviews all the weekly events from the world of, wrestling, the wrestling entertainment world. And then also this Friday coming, we have DC Animation with Spenser and Friends. Spenser, what movie is on the docket?
We will be reviewing Justice League War.
Another
thing. Chris was on the last episode of DC Animation with Spenser and Friends. So you've definitely heard him before. Yeah.
It's like I never left.
Chris just been here.
Yeah, look at that, getting a double dose of Chris now. So yeah, that's what we have for this week's schedule. So be sure and check those out. Also, be sure to follow us on all social media platforms. We are on X. We are on Instagram. We are in Facebook. We're on YouTube, and you can find us all at the League of Melanated Gentlemen podcast, or you can also just search LMG podcast, and that is where you can hit us up, talk to us on there. We're always in there talking our talk. It's always a good time. And also, last thing, don't forget to rate and review us on whatever streaming service you prefer to use. Whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or Stitcher. I don't think Stitcher's still around anymore. But whatever other podcast service that you use. So yeah, that is everything.
Look at Jordan calling X by how it wants to be identified.
I know. I will say though, if they start trying to charge people, we might have to drop that thing real fast because we ain't paying for that.
Y'all got the blue checkered yet?
Nah, we ain't paying for that. We trying to get it the real way.
Yeah, authentic.
Which you all listening can help us do. Yeah. So, as I'm sure you found by the title, we will be reviewing the Amazon Hotness Gen V, which is a spinoff from The Boys. Jordan is going to run the spoiler warning, and then we're going to talk about it. So, let's do that. Listen to these words, for they may determine your next course of action. This is your official name brand League of Melanated Gentlemen spoiler warning. We are issuing this spoiler warning not only for the piece of media or content that is in the title of this episode, but also for the world or the universe in which that piece of media or content exists. If you are not caught up, I would highly recommend you pause my voice, you catch yourself up, and then you join us once again. If you are all the way caught up, and or if spoilers do not offend you, please enjoy. And now with that out of the way, we have a whole 8 episodes to talk about. So I'm going to read a synopsis in my own words of each episode, and then we're just going to talk about it. So, episode 1, God You. We open 8 years ago with a sports draft of sorts for the Seven, and A-Train has been drafted. A black family is watching this on TV, and the oldest daughter suddenly has a stomachache. Marie discovers that she has blood magic and accidentally kills her parents. In present day, she is practicing to, use her powers, and watched a young powered person get taken away by the authorities. She gets an email that she has been accepted into God U. She arrives and meets her roommate Emma. They take a trip to the stadium where Golden Boy is about to spar with another student and gives him the Jax treatment. Marie wants to go into crime fighting, but finds out that she is rejected. So she goes straight to the professor, but is pretty much told to kick rocks. Later that night, she is taking a stroll and runs into a student that is tweaking, destructive, and being chased by authorities. She and another student intervene, and he is captured and put in solitary. Golden Boy has a meeting with the professor, basically telling him that he is locked in to join the Seven. Marie is invited out to a party with a few other students, and she decides to join. While flirting with a girl, Andre accidentally slits someone's jugular, but luckily, Marie uses her blood magic to save her life. Unluckily, she is expelled because the kids who did it have privilege, and she's an orphan, and so she gets scapegoated for the accident. Marie then walks in on Golden Boy killing the professor. Jordan fights Golden Boy so that Marie can escape. Andre is able to temporarily calm him down, but then he flies into the air, unaliving himself. In the post-credits, Vought CEO issues a statement calling his death an isolated incident that does not reflect on the institution as a whole. Episode 2, First Day. We open with the aftermath of the events from the last episode of Dragon Ball Z. A conference call with the higher-ups decide to make Andre and Marie the new faces. Marie, Andre, and Jordan learn of their new rankings, and Marie is getting an absurd amount of attention because of it. Emma makes a new friend in the theater class who doesn't want to typecast her, and Marie has a therapy session with the dean, letting her know that she wants her to be a hero to show her sister that she isn't a monster. Emma's new friend goes online and exposes her secret about how she gets small, and Andre is able to find where Golden Boy hid a phone, claiming that his brother didn't kill himself. He is being held in a place called The Woods, and Brink was in on it. Andre breaks into Brink's office and finds the file for Golden Boy's brother. Marie finds out that her sister said that she wants nothing to do with her, so she claims that she is the one who stopped Golden Boy in the interview, leaving Jordan out to dry. Andre is about to get caught, but Kate shows up right on time to save him before busting into a seizure. Episode 3, #ThinkBrink. We open with a flashback of 3 years ago. Sam is frustrated, and Luke is called in to try to calm him down. Kate has to put him to sleep, and then we are brought to present day, where she wakes up after her seizure in the last episode of Dragon Ball Z, and they have a conversation. Then Andre and Kate know each other biblically. Marie and Emma have a don't judge me conversation, and the dean invites Marie to a gala. At the gala, Emma and Marie become friends instead of just roommates, and Andre convinces her to help him with the Sam situation. Emma is able to get into Sam's room, and After they start bonding, alarms are set off and security rushes in. Emma does an earwig-style mind freak to one of the security guards before getting caught. Episode 4, The Whole Truth. We open to a bloodbath of security guards as Sam has escaped. Sam and Emma hide out in an abandoned drive-in movie theater. She tells him that Luke committed suicide and he does not take it well. Tech Knight comes through to quote-unquote find the truth, but he was planted by Vought to hide the actual truth and find a scapegoat. Marie goes to a student with psychic powers, but he ends up being a piece of shit, and it ends up as problems for him. It doesn't go well for him. He should not have been a piece of shit. Tech Knight is interviewing people that were close to Luke for the show, and Emma and Sam continue bonding. Tech Knight guest lectures in a class and ends up interviewing Marie, getting her to reveal that it was actually Jordan who held back Golden Boy before he killed himself. Tech Knight decides to use the Dean as a scapegoat, and Sam starts hallucinating and leaves to go kill Dr. Cardoza. Marie and Jordan are they're about to start clapping when Emma busts in and tells them that Sam is going after Dr. Cardoza. Tech Knight has a thing for inanimate objects, and the Dean uses that to make Tech Knight go away. Sam shows up at Dr. Cardoza's house, and the whole crew shows up to stop him. Emma grows and is able to stop Sam. Then Marie blacks out and wakes up in bed with Jordan. Episode 5. Welcome to the Monster Club. We open with everyone waking up and having no memory of what happened. Sam shows up while Emma and Marie are talking, but they have no idea who he is. He mentions that they pretty much had their memories wiped so that they wouldn't know about him. Dr. Cardoza and the Dean meet. He has nearly perfected a virus that can control the soups, but he needs Marie as a test subject. The group is under the impression that Rufus, the psychic from earlier, is responsible for the blackout, so Andre goes after him. Marie and Jordan find him and give chase, but he gets away. Andre finds him and is about to handle him, but then he gets blacked out. Emma finds evidence that she actually does know Sam while he is hallucinating a puppet massacre, but it wasn't a hallucination. He absolutely killed a tactical unit with his bare hands. Marie removes a tracking device from her body and goes to Kate to tell her what's going on, but Kate apologizes to her and reveals that she is in on it. Marie runs into Jordan, and Marie has lost her memory again, and Jordan thinks it was Rufus. Emma goes to find Sam, and he tells her that it's actually Kate that's using her powers to make Luke forget about him. So Marie and Jordan show up at Rufus's house, but luckily for him, Emma calls and lets Marie know that Kate is behind it. Andre is about to kill Rufus, but Kate shows up and gives him all of his memories back. Episode 6, Jumanji. We open to Kate returning the memories of everyone that she erased. Kate has been using her powers too much and she starts seizing, but the group is able to stabilize her. Dr. Cardoza successfully creates a soup virus, but Dean Shetty wants it to be a little more potent before they present it. The group find themselves trapped in Kate's mind, where they meet her imaginary friend presenting as Soldier Boy. He tells them that they have to escape before Kate and the rest of them end up catatonic. Sam and Emma, they make sweet tender love, and the group lives through memories of Kate meeting Dean Shetty and meeting Luke. We find out that Kate was cheating on Luke with Andre, and then we see memory from Jordan with how they became Brink's favorite. They then see a memory of the woods and the conversation about Luke with Dean Shetty and Brink. They are then taken to Marie's memory of killing her parents. They do finally meet Kate and convince her to wake up. Everyone is able to wake up, and Emma and Sam show up. Sam sees Kate and is ready to put hands, like it's on sight. But Emma is able to convince him to stand down. Kate then tells them everything she knows about the woods. Meanwhile, Dr. Cardoza upped the dosage, which ends up killing a soup. Shetty asks, can it be made contagious? Episode 7, Sick. We open in the woods with captured soup students trapped in a room with another soup that has been infected with the virus. It is transferable through bodily fluids, but Shetty said that that's not contagious enough. Jordan and Marie decide to break into Dean Shetty's office to find evidence of the woods so that they can get Newman involved to expose them. Marie and Jordan learn that Shetty's family was on the plane that Homelander destroyed. Drunk as fuck, Dr. Cardoza stumbles into Shetty's office, babbling about the virus, but he didn't know that Jordan and Marie were in there conveniently hiding. Dean Shetty meets with Mallory because she wants her help spreading this virus, but Mallory is not about that. Mallory goes ahead and has Shetty watched just to be safe. Sam hears a commotion outside of the room and finds a slip and slide party. While doing a television interview, Andre's father suffers a seizure. Meanwhile, Newman is being interviewed, and Jordan causes a diversion so that Marie can get in there and meet with Newman. Kate confronts Dean Shetty, and the dean is able to convince her that everything is all right, seemingly. Newman meets with Marie, and they bond over their similarities. Marie tells Newman about the woods, and she does a classic, we'll take it from here. Back at Dean Shetty's house, Kate forces Dean Shetty to reveal the truth about Godolphin University to the group before making her slit her own throat. Newman collects the virus from Dr. Cardoza and then busts his head open. Episode 8, Guardians of Godolphin. We open with the group discussing how to move forward after the death of Dean Shetty. Sam and Kate decide to free everyone in the woods. Andre finds out that his father, using his powers, is basically slowly ripping his brain apart, which is what caused the seizure. Ashley comes in to try to figure out how to work the narrative and figure out who the next member of the Seven is going to be. And Sam and Kate break everyone out of the woods. The escaped students start a rampage, and Marie, Emma, and Jordan try to contain it. Marie runs into Sam, and then they pretty much break up, and Sam has a hallucination of Luke telling him to stop killing people. He ignores the hallucination, and Kate removes his ability to feel feelings. Marie is able to get into Dean Shetty's office and hit the panic button, which puts the campus on lockdown. The Vought board is trying to flee, but a helicopter is brought down. Luckily, Andre is able to bring the helicopter down safely, and Marie tries to go to stop Kate. Kate makes Maverick fight Marie, but Marie uses her blood magic witch powers to take care of him. Marie and Jordan fight off some of the Woods students, and Kate attempts to brainwash Jordan, but Marie blows her arm off. Then Homelander arrives. He accuses Marie of killing her own kind and lasers her. We then see a news story that Marie, Andre, Emma, and Jordan are the reason for the campus massacre, and Sam and Kate are the guardians of Godolphin. The four of them find themselves in a white room in hospital beds with no doors. And in the after credits scene, we see Billy Butcher himself, investigating what's left of the woods. And that is Gen V.
Good work. Good work.
As always.
I feel like I've done so much talking.
It was a lot. I mean, it was 8 episodes. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
It was a good recap. It felt like I just rewatched the whole series right there.
I'm glad. That's what I want, because since these episodes come out week to week, sometimes I've even forgot what happened in episode 2.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad we had this talk. So, Brandon, as an anti The Boys person, I'd love to hear your opinion on this, because you did not watch The Boys, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and so I would love to hear what your thoughts were just on what you saw, because
let's give the before and after rating too.
Yes, this is heavy. So, yeah, give us a rating and give us your thoughts out the door.
Yeah, you are definitely the one that I've been looking forward to the most talking to about the show. Only because like you've never seen anything boys related.
Right.
You refuse to watch it.
Right. Okay. So rating out the door, I'm gonna go 7.5. I thought it was a quality series, had some good characters. It wasn't really coming of age at all, but it kind of had the aesthetic. The characters are pretty good. They were pretty interesting. There was a few, like 3 or 4, interesting characters that you kind of wanted to follow and kind of see where they landed. I thought, the gore and all that extra stuff. I mean, yeah. I mean, I expected some of that, like a dude like having sex with holes. You know what I mean? Like that. That was like, all right, like okay, I should expect this. You know what I'm saying? This is just what this is. But
did it throw you off any at all, since like you're brand new to this universe? Like, did any of that throw you off? He was like, what are we watching? Like, how did you feel about seeing the craziness?
I mean, I kind of expected it. I mean,
and it was pretty tame, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't tame, but it was. I was expected. Like, I know this universe. I know how this goes. Right, nothing is off limits. All this stuff is kind of part of it. Some of it was funny. Some of it was like, all right, bro, like, what are we doing? But overall, yeah, 7.5. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was good, at least, and I don't know if I'm watching a season 2, but I did enjoy, for the most part, trekking through. I ain't gonna lie, it was a point there where I was like, golly, this is homework. But then it got better for me.
That's wild.
So,
yeah, wild.
I will say,
never felt that way.
I'm glad you didn't hate it.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of worried that you would, and we'll talk about it a little more. Chris?
Yeah. So, I want to preface everything saying I loved it. Thought the show was great. I'm very impressed what they were able to do with like an original cast of characters, and really kind of get that feeling of The Boys, but put it in a more digestible format, I would say, especially because my partner, Victoria, she loved it. She actually loved it more than The Boys. And I can definitely see where this kind of format can reach a wider audience. There was a couple of jokes that felt pretty flat, a little corny. I'm thinking about the PewDiePie joke and the Gangnam Style joke. I was like, there's some dude in the writing room probably wrote that and was like, this gonna get them.
Right.
But there's everything has that. Like, there's always a joke that somebody was like, oh yeah, this gonna kill him. And it's like, no. Yeah. But there weren't a bunch of them.
Oh, right. Yeah. It took itself seriously, which I did like for the most part. They definitely could have made this like a lot cornier than that they could have, but overall they took it very seriously. And I think it being a standalone like kind of spinoff is like disingenuous. I felt like you really do need to watch The Boys to really like fully enjoy and appreciate like a lot of the plot points they're trying to do and kind of like reinforce that universe that they did show. But as a rating, just like straight off rip, it's like a solid 8.5.
Yeah. Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, I'm all in on the boys. After I watched, seasons 1 through 4, I went and bought the comics, read those. So Gen V for me, like Chris said, this was a great new cast of characters. Also, we got a couple of characters that's from the actual comic that we hadn't got to see yet. Um, I love the show. It was fantastic for me. I do think this is a great hopping on point for people who kind of did not watch the boys. I feel like they did a good job of like separating it from the boys, and this is a really good definition, like a spinoff. Like it's not the boys. It's in this. You could tell it's in the same universe, but it has a completely different feel to it. Versus just being like almost like a straight one for one the boys. It's kind of. I feel like I kind of explained that weird, but I feel like it's a true spinoff. You could tell that the creators of this show also collaborated with the creators of the boys because it still kept the same feel from the boys, but it also felt different at the same time. I enjoyed all the new characters that we got to meet. I think they're a great addition to this universe. There were a bunch of side characters that I love, like we got to find out Translucent Sun, the invisible, RA guy.
Maverick.
He was great. Maverick. You kept seeing him with the llama, and you're just like, this dude is wild. So I enjoyed seeing that. I loved Cricket. Like I thought I wasn't gonna like her at first. I felt for Cricket the most. Like I felt like she was going through it.
Yeah.
He was definitely the heart and soul of the show.
For sure. And these are some really great characters. Like I said before, and I mean, I'm excited to kind of talk about it a little bit more. My rating coming out the gate, definitely going 8.5. We'll see if it changes as we kind of get through the episode, but for now, it's definitely 8.5. What you thinking, Spencer?
I loved it. I thought it was great. I'm giving it a 9 out the door. I really enjoyed it. As you said, I think it did a good job of actually being a spinoff, but making sure that you knew that it still existed in the boys universe. The fact that I have watched the boys definitely helped. They threw in a lot of stuff where I was like, yeah, I'm glad we got to see that.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of callbacks and everything like that. So as far as timeline, I'm pretty sure that this happens right after the most recent season of The Boys.
Right. And they do a good job of kind of referencing stuff too.
Yeah, like what let me know that was Newman's involvement. Like
and
Newman is
TV in the background.
Yeah, like that's how I kind of like piece together like where we are as far as the timeline goes.
They're also talking about Homelander potentially facing trial for killing the dude at the end of the season 4.
Yeah. So I feel like this is a few months after season 3. Yeah, after season 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if we just kind of go, do we want to go through the episodes or do we want to just talk freely?
I like to go through the episodes, kind of, and then maybe a combination of both. We talk through the episodes, and maybe we'll see how it goes. And okay. I like that though.
So, in the first episode, I guess the main point that we take away from the first episode is that Golden Boy is number 1. He's the guy. He's got the golden ticket. Like he's on his way, and then he, I guess, feels like Mr. Krabs betrayed him. And he kills him.
All right.
And, he's not doing okay. And Jordan kind of holds him off. And Marie saw the thing happen. And so she's like, oh, shit, I'm a witness. I have to leave.
Right.
So Jordan is able to hold him off. And then Andre's like, hey, this isn't you. And
I definitely thought Golden Boy was about to take Andre out. When he hugged him,
I was
like, he about to kill him.
See, and that's like, because this is the boys, like that's absolutely on the table.
Yeah, you like learn, don't try to get too attached to some of these characters.
Let me say this about that. I said to Larry, because Larry, when I talked to him, he hadn't finished it yet. And I said, Larry was like, oh yeah, I like this person. They seem real cool. I was like, Larry, don't like anybody yet. Like liking somebody's not safe. Like you never know. Don't get attached. Like that's what one thing the boys has taught me is like liking somebody is dangerous. Getting attached to people is dangerous. You never know.
It's true.
Yeah. Oh, can I ask something real quick? Let me ask something. Brandon, since you didn't watch any of the boys, do you feel like you missed out on anything? Or like do you feel like you have enough of the pieces?
I mean, yeah, there's definitely a lot of references that I didn't know. Like I had to like figure out the ranking system kind of on the fly to figure out the goal of the 7 and all that. Oh, the goal to reach, to be a part of the 7 and all that stuff. Like, yeah, it was definitely a lot of stuff, and it was some stuff like with the polarity dude. Like, it was some people where I was like, okay, are they in Boys or are they just kind of new to this show? You know what I mean? So it was kind of like constantly having to figure out like, okay, is this person new or they have kind of a backstory? Now, some people they kind of made it kind of clear that they had a backstory, but some people they didn't.
So did you just kind of jump around to the end right quick? Did you understand the ending? Like, did you know who Homelander was with the American flag for a cape?
I mean, I know him just from
just
pop
from
culture,
pop culture.
Yeah, but I don't know him like that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was just curious.
Mm-hmm.
So, we Golden Boy, like in the first part of the episode, he's fine. Like he's great. Like he's happy. He's accepted his position. Everything's cool. And then by the end, he unalives himself, and the stresses and all that got to him. So it was and then in the first episode we also see the CEO making a statement that says condolences to the family, but that ain't got nothing to do with us.
Right.
We had that. We don't. That's not. That's an isolated incident having nothing to do with us whatsoever. That is not a reflection of this institution, etc., etc. And Brandon, do you remember what I said to you about the boys and what I have said every time the boys has come up? I said
the gore or something is has a purpose, I believe.
No, I said if you look at it like an M&M, the gore, the sex, all that extra, that's the coating on the outside. That's the color that you see. Like the reds and the blues and the greens and the yellows, like that's all the gore and the sex. But the chocolate, that good shit on the inside, that's what we're here for. This is good storytelling. It is one of the best allegories for all of the bullshit that real life and capitalism have to offer that I have ever seen. It's so well done. And it's, usually when stuff is just in your face like that, it's jarring or it's like not good. This is the right kind of in your face.
Mm-hmm.
And were you able to see that? Were you able to see that the gore and the sex and the expletives, all of that is just decoration, but that a really good, cohesive, and quite frankly, just well-told story is in there. Not even buried. It's like the story is it's right there for you. You just have to accept that it's there, Brandon.
I mean, for the most part, I mean, sure. It was a good story. I mean, there was a lot of candy there. There was a lot of, outer filling stuff. But again, like I thought it was the through line of the whole thing, like removing all the extra shit. Yeah, it was a good story.
I mean, episode 1, I remember talking to Chris for when episode 1 came out. I told him that my wife doesn't watch The Boys. She didn't watch this. She walked in on the very first episode. The scene she walked in on when Cricket was small, and she was like wrapped around that dude's dick. My wife was like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, "It's a show called Gen V. That's not the point of it. I don't know what to tell you."
Yep,
bro.
That's how that goes. Like
that was one that I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, what am I watching?
That's what I felt bad for Cricket, because like you see her just throwing up in the bathroom. You're like, why is she throwing up? And then she gets smaller and smaller. Like, that's how they're dealing with body issues right there.
Yeah. And her mom's showing up. Like
later
kind
on.
of reinforced. Yeah. So that's the thing. The show, it's hard hitting, and it addresses so much, and there's so much material being covered. There's so much trauma that we see these people go through and how they deal with it. It is ridiculous. This show has, like, as far as the reference, there's so much chocolate. So much chocolate. And again, I know that it's colorful and that outer coating is loud.
Yeah.
But we're here for the chocolate. Because
one thing
I will say, the first time I actually saw a dick, I was like, oh, okay. This is this is that kind of show.
Let's go.
Because I don't know how many like TV shows I've seen where like there's actual genitals.
I mean, you watch any HBO show, and I mean, you'll see one.
That's true.
Yeah, like I was the first time it happened, I was only kind of prepared because I was like, this feels like a show that's gonna let that fly. But whenever it actually happened, I was like, oh, okay. Now I
saw
know.
way too many dicks in this show than I prefer.
I was about to say there were only like 2, but that's
she's like, say, tell me it's the biggest one you've seen. She's like, well, I mean, relatively speaking.
I mean, like,
I loved how everybody on campus knew that he was like that kind of dude too. Like, he's like, yeah, this dude's a piece of shit.
You're right.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, that is how life is. Like, there are a lot of people, especially at a university. Oh, yeah. Like, there are a lot of dudes who are just the worst kind of people.
I do like how, like, a lot of this trauma that you see for a lot of our characters, like, it never feels forced just because you realize, like, their parents willingly gave their kids this, like, experimental compound. Like, they're kind of set up for failure at that point in terms of having a regular life.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I agree. And I think, that, Chris, that was you who asked me, right? Who, if I had a chance to give my kids Compound V, would I do it? You asked me that, right?
Yeah.
Nah, yeah, I wouldn't do it. Would y'all give you? They might get superpowers. Would y'all do it?
No.
You're like a gerbil, pet gerbil.
Now, Chris also asked me, would I take Compound V? A chance to get powers? I ain't gonna lie, I might.
Nah.
You wouldn't do it, so y'all got a chance to get power. You don't know what power is gonna be.
That's
not this show.
There's like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And
this show, your powers might be something crazy.
Yeah, like, I'm not in a bad enough situation where I would want that. Like, if things weren't going, like, if things were going badly, or if I was in a situation where, like, I just needed something, I needed some help, it'd be a little different. But I'm good as I am now. And I think so
younger me definitely would have took it. Older me, I might not take it, but younger me definitely would have.
Oh yeah, like me before a kid, that's a different situation.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a
Compound V. Let me get that. Was that a Mountain Dew? Let me get that Mountain Dew.
But and Brandon, I'm not sure. I assume that you were able to gather that from the show, but whenever we started The Boys, we did not know that that's how this happened. So we thought, like, we were kind of under the impression that people were just kind of born with superpowers, but we later find out that it was Vought that created a drug that people could give to their children to give them superpowers. And then once that comes out, like, it's this whole big to-do. And so that's one of the, traumas that a lot of people have to, deal with, is the fact that their parents gave them this. And we see it with who I would call the main character of The Boys, Starlight, because she's got one of those, like, pageant moms.
Yeah.
So yeah, we see some of that. But so we see Golden Boy kill himself, and in the next episode of Dragon Ball Z, we see that they decide to make Andre and Marie the face of the school. Like, they are, number 1, number 2. Now, Jordan, I was going to ask you, did you get My Hero vibes with the ranking system?
I did. Yeah. No, I definitely did. It's like trying everyone wants to be the number 1 hero, everybody wants to be All Might. And for a while I was like, honestly, I was like, Golden Boy, I see why he's number 1 because who's gonna take him down? I was like, he ready for the 7. But
Yep.
Unfortunately, my boy took himself out.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Splattered all over the concrete.
Yep. And we, a little foreshadowing. We didn't know that the boy who was running and then got subdued was going to be important later.
Yeah.
So, interesting in that regard.
Is his powers just like the Hulk, but he didn't turn into the Hulk?
I think so. I think he's just got super strength because he didn't have anything that I saw physically happen otherwise. So yeah, I think he's just a brute.
Crack ass strength.
But also it feels like everybody on Compound V has. So another thing is and that we see in the boys is that people on Compound V are just kind of generally super strong. Just
I wouldn't say that because I mean there's a couple characters like even Mother's Milk, he was raised on Compound V, but his mom had it in her breast milk, but he didn't have anything, he wasn't super strength. And even
the reason I say that
Translucent
was super strong.
Translucent did have super strength.
Did he?
Yeah, the reason I say that I mean in comparison to regular people, because I learned that whenever Huey hit A-Train, and A-Train was like, how the fuck did you do that?
Oh, true. Yeah.
Because A-Train, being hit by a regular person wouldn't feel it. But being hit by Huey, who's on that juice, he did feel it. But Huey's powers had nothing to do with strength. But Compound V just gave him some more strength, just kind of in general. And so I think that Compound V just kind of comes with and not absurd superhuman strength, but just gives you some extra.
Stronger than a normal human.
Yeah. Just like a baseline strength. You're gonna be able to take a couple hits, but then there's the ones like Stormfront and Homelander and Sam that are just I'm just stronger than that.
Yeah, there are some people super strength is a part of their power set. And so I'm guessing, with him, super strength is just what his power is. Because we see him ripping people apart.
Yeah, when we get to that was hilarious. I've never seen something like that happen on TV.
We will get to it. But so Emma makes a new friend, and that new friend exposes her, and that's just gross.
Oh, I feel so bad for her.
Dude, that was trash.
She's making that girl suck. She's making that girl suck on tail too. I'm like, bro, that is terrible.
Yeah. And she was just a terrible person. And there's a lot of that. Most of the people in this universe are terrible in some way. Nobody is just all the way good.
Yeah.
There are not very many people you can point to who you're everybody does something or has some questionable moments.
Yeah.
So
this is also this is also the episode where we got to see the one dude from The Boys, the drama teacher. Remember he was trying to pitch a show on The Boys, and so we see him here as a drama teacher. This first episode we see him in.
Yeah. Some respect on his name. He directed the Return of the Seven, the Rise of the Seven.
Dawn of the Seven. So Brandon, we saw that teacher. He was in The Boys, and he was trying to pitch a movie to Vought, and so now he's that's drama
The Boys.
teacher.
Josh Whedon right there.
Yeah, he's he's the Zack Snyder, because they had a whole thing where they said his name. I guess his last name was Borg, and they said you got to put out the Borg cut, the Snyder.
Oh yeah.
So they're coming after everybody. Nobody's safe as far as satire. in the superhero realm, or honestly in real life. Like the government, yeah, everybody can get some of the satire. But so Andre finds out about the woods, and then Marie finds out that her sister wants nothing to do with her, and the whole stopping Golden Boy thing. And so Marie is hailed as the one who did it, and Jordan is pissed off about it because Jordan was number 2 and now Jordan is like number 5, and Jordan is like, what the fuck, I'm the one who stopped him. And yeah, all that happens. So then yeah, we have some issues, and now we have a little bit of a flashback. So now we can see some of the woods activity. We see Sam getting there, Luke and Kate going to see him, all of that stuff.
This is when I thought this is the episode I was like, Kate is probably up to no good, because we see her in a flashback kind of like calming Sam down. I was like, if she can do that to Sam, who else is she doing that to?
I also thought like, okay, this is like her power of influence, her Purple Man shit. Like that's not good.
Her power itself is just like evil. It's like that one dude in My Hero where his power is like to read minds or whatever. They're like, oh, this dude should be a villain.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about. And Deku had to hurt himself to get out of it.
Yeah. So, yeah. Whenever I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, she's because that's what the show is. So I immediately was like, yep, she's sinister. Like, honestly, whenever I saw her and Andre fucking, I was like, she's out.
Bro, his brains was still on the ground.
Bro didn't even wait 24 hours, man.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why it was important for us to find out that had been going on for a while. Because before that, I was like, oh, she trifling as fuck. But, I mean, she was, but
it's like, but it's okay. They had it was happening for a while. Like it's
right. Like so, yeah. Like she didn't. Yeah. At least we don't know.
Some reps.
But, so yeah, they Andre comes in, and then Kate and Andre know each other biblically, and Marie and Emma have a "don't judge me" conversation, and the dean invites her to the gala. Now, the gala is where, we start, connecting all the people together. So, that is where Andre asks Emma to help him.
Right.
And, she's like, okay, whatever. Yeah, I can do that. That's fine. And whenever Sam sees her, Sam is like, you're not real. And she's like, yeah, I am. He's like, what? Because, he's used to having hallucinations and, all of that. So
that's a red flag right there.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's a red flag. That's something I would have been like, that's not good.
Yeah.
Are you seeing things that aren't real?
Yeah.
But, some people and Emma seems to be a very loving and forgiving person, and she wants what's best for him, and she thought he was cute or whatever. So
the test that he made her take was hilarious. He was like, what's your favorite movie? And I think he was named Waterworld or something. She's like, that's such a white boy movie or something like that. He's like, what kind of test was this? Like, that was such a simple test.
Yeah, their whole I liked them together. Like their whole interactions, they were adorable.
They had good chemistry for sure.
Yeah, like I enjoyed them on screen. Because they were both like an awkward funny.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is cute. I like this.
Yeah.
Like, this makes sense. This tracks.
Right. So Nemo was funny.
Yeah, like I liked their relationship.
And you knew Emma was ride or die the moment she like crawled through that dude's head. Like,
Bro.
I was like, all right, yeah, she in it to win it.
Yeah, whenever she went ear to ear,
like that is why, you know how disgusting it is. Like she probably went through so much, just blood and earwax and just everything. You know, she had to beat her way through his eardrum. It's just like, that is disgusting.
That SpongeBob episode where you see like the office, like inside the brain. She probably saw the dude's office room in there. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That was
tough.
That was and the fact that she like had to like fight her way to get through and like get some air. I was just like,
she had to crawl out.
Yeah.
And but that's that's the boys.
Yeah.
And so like that, I didn't bother me at all. I was very indifferent about that. I was like, yep, that's how that's gonna go.
Yeah.
Like she's gonna earwig his ass, and that's just how it's gotta be.
Yeah.
And so then Sam, we don't see him actually do it, but he turns that hallway in. You never want to meet a hero in a hallway.
That's true.
But is this the same episode we saw him like punch through that dude's face?
No, he did
that a couple times.
Yeah, we see that. I know we see that later. We see that in the last.
He did like an uppercut. Sure. I think that was like episode 2 or 3. He did like an uppercut, and like his hand was like coming out that dude's.
That may have been this episode, or I think that was episode 3.
Yeah, because I think it was the first guy who came into that cell. He did it to.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, he punched the shit out of him.
This is also where we first see the running joke about the security guard, Bob. Like the whole series is like, all right, Bob is like, all right, I'm not Bob, I'm Greg, or I'm XY. Yeah. Bob almost made it through the whole series.
Yeah.
Sure.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good point out. That is a good point out.
So, he again, you never want to meet a hero in a hallway. And I wouldn't necessarily say hero, but you don't want to meet a main character or a character like with a name in a hallway.
You think they get life insurance? Like those guys get like really good life insurance?
I'm sure that Vaught's comprehensive benefits package is very generous, if I had to guess. But also,
gotta be for you to sign up for that position.
Also, they're a slimy corporation, so maybe not.
Right.
I would assume though, like in that line of work, like you have very good insurance.
Yeah,
I'd be shocked if you didn't. So they escape to an abandoned movie theater, and she tells him about what happened to Luke, and he's already not okay, but like that, he does not take that well. And then we meet Tech Knight, and Tech Knight was all up and through this episode.
Dude,
and
my bad. I want to say I was surprised to see him, only because he shows up really. I just put out my comic. He shows up really early in like the original comic run, and his character looks like Iron Man. Like he has like an Iron Man suit, but the way he behaves in the show is exactly how he behaves in the comics. Like he literally cannot see a hole and not try to put his dick in it. Like it's terrible. And I was like, oh, okay, they brought him in. They did him pretty good. But I was like, yeah, he is a terrible person.
The way he looks at that bagel, I was like,
the way he looked at the tree. Like when he saw the tree, bro, I was like, he was walking. Like he was in the middle of delivering like the closing for the show and like did not take his eyes off that tree.
Mm-hmm.
And my thought is, there are people around. It's daytime.
He's licking his lips. I'm like,
Yeah. Like the meme of the dude coming from behind the tree.
Yeah.
Like he was Birdman rubbing his hands together. I was like, what like so people just gonna watch you fuck this tree?
He's looking for the whole truth, man.
Yeah, because
that's funny. The whole truth.
Boy, he was hitting when they did like the quick cuts to him, like hitting different things. It was he had the leg up. I was like, hold on. He was
dope as fuck.
Yeah, like he didn't he fuck like a bathroom dryer?
Dryer?
Like that one he had to like work for it a little bit.
Bro, he like missed it at first, had to get like a little step stool.
Yeah.
he needed a little help, and he was like, "No, we doing this. We here today." So yeah, that's dedication.
Yeah,
But
commitment is crazy.
it's kind of cool though. Like I couldn't tell. So his power in the show, I guess he could tell when someone was lying. Like I couldn't really tell what his power was.
His power is super observant.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So like he
Gotcha.
can see like literally every little thing that's happening. So like the stuff that investigators like actually look for, he can like physically see people reacting to certain things. So he can see like
Andre,
because
like
he's
gulping,
able to,
he's like, oh, he's lying. He sees like the little vein over here moving every time.
Yeah.
So like his power is just like he's way more observant than any human can be.
Man, that's how he's finding all these holes, man.
No,
yeah,
for
true.
real. No, for real.
Yeah,
the whole truth.
You know, it's also crazy too. In the comics, they like the only reason they like go find him is because there was a kid who's like been sexually assaulted, and they're blaming it on him. And like, and it was because it was his sidekick, and his sidekick was the reason he left. Yeah, it was like a whole thing. It was pretty crazy, but yeah, man, he was good though. In this, like, I like his character. He straight up interrogated Marie, and Marie was shook.
Yeah, they're singing.
Everyone shook. Yeah,
I mean, and
shook.
That's his whole. That's what he does, and that's like when he like because she was about to take her glove off, and he said, "If you take that fucking glove off,
I'll rip your fucking head off."
Right.
Like you don't want those problems,
right?
You better leave them fucking gloves on. So yeah, he was, and we found out he was a piece of shit pretty immediately because he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna find somebody to blame this on. What the fuck you think I'm here for?"
As soon as they was like, "I'm gonna expose you," though, he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go and get up out of here." So nothing to see here. Yeah,
and that's like like
this fierce.
When Dean Shetty was like, you have a little thing that you like, and this video, nobody will have to see it if you leave right now. And he was like, "Well, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go ahead and get up on out of here." There's nothing here, guys. We can pack it up. We can go.
Did she say the tumor caused him to now have a proclivity for that, or?
Yes, that is my understanding, or that's how I heard it. Was that he had a tumor, and that's what caused him to start just fucking holes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so funny, and like she's looking at the recording of him, bro. This dude really got a problem, like,
bro.
Yeah, he like smashing the donut. He grabbed a vacuum. He grabbed a skull. He found just a random some trees in the wood that's down. I'm like, yo, my dude got a problem.
Yeah, for all the super perception, you would think he'd see some cameras or something, man.
Yeah, I know, man.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, that's the thing. Like it's not like he can't control himself. It's a compulsion.
Yeah, thanks.
But
it's interesting.
We also in this episode we see Sam having some hallucinations, like watching TV. And those hallucinations are like, you need to kill Dr. Cardoza. He's the problem. He's the reason you're here. He's like, that's the guy. We need to get rid of him. And so he shows up at Dr. Cardoza's house, and luckily everybody shows up to stop him. And this is where we see Emma's power work the other way, because we didn't necessarily know.
Oh, it's true.
We didn't necessarily know that she could eat and grow. We just thought she ate to get to her normal size.
Yeah.
And I mean, we also even know that because whenever her mom does visit, her mom is like, "You're looking a little small." So it's like she wasn't quite her size yet.
Yeah.
But we see her, eat a bunch of spaghetti, and now she's giant. And then we move to the next episode.
Wait. That ending was crazy. Like, we just see them fighting, and then all of a sudden, it just goes blank.
That threw me off.
Was that the only one that had to rewind it for a second? Like, hold on.
Yeah, no, I did too.
Oh, no, I absolutely rewind it. Yeah.
I was like,
because
what happened?
Same. And then, like, they just woke up in a bed, and they may have lost a couple days.
Yeah.
And yeah, because I thought that only Marie passed out because she, in there's an anime called Dead Man Wonderland, and one of the things
Great show.
In Dead Man Wonderland, like blood bending is a thing that like that's what the show's kind of about, or that's the main like form of power in the show. And I thought that she passed out because she used too much blood. Because one of the things that they talk about in Dead Man Wonderland is like using your blood as a projectile is not a good move because it's your blood.
Right.
And if you lose too much of it, it's not going to go well for you.
Right.
And so I thought that she passed out because she overexerted or, used too much. But then, and I thought that because I didn't know that Jordan also had no idea what happened. But then in the next episode, it's like, we don't nobody know what happened.
Yeah. It was such a quick cut.
It was very immediate.
Yeah.
Like middle of a sentence. It was like, damn.
And again, that's why I thought like it was just I thought that she just overexerted and passed out.
Yeah.
But yeah, she we see that everybody passed out. And so then
can I say one more thing? I don't want to seem like I'm the freak. I don't want to say I'm the freak. But
it's a weird way to start. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where are we going?
When she got real big, did anything cross your mind or anything?
Oh, bro,
get your mind out the gutter, though.
Death by snoo.
What is you on?
I'm just saying, nope. That didn't cross your mind at all? I'm like, what would that be like?
Death by snoo crossed my mind.
It probably smelled rank, bro. It's probably smelled like the Asian fish market all of a sudden.
Yeah, I'm just saying, bro. She got real big, and I was like, for a quick second, I was like, what would I do?
Yeah, but I think that's just you. You're a freak.
Yeah, I think that's you, bro.
Jordan's like, let me see if I can get under there. what we got?
Yeah. Again, I did think of Death by snoo, but that was
like a speed next.
Oh God. Stop it right now.
That's crazy.
Man said a
I was just thinking like tickle. I was just saying I didn't cross my mind, but
okay.
I guess it's just me then.
Okay.
I mean, I thought it was like, damn, like that difference of size. You're like, you look like I don't know. Like I'd be like, damn, all right, you got it all out. Like, but
you gotta use your whole body.
That's funny.
Well, the man's had super strength, so she had to,
No, it makes sense why she did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine though? She like took a shit though at that size. It'd be like the size of like a car. Like if she had to go, that'd be wow.
You think
she did just eat a bunch of food, so like, yeah, I would have some questions about that.
You think the throw is like proportional to her size?
Oh yeah, I know that was gross.
Oh yeah,
and I'm happy you just brought that up because somebody asked us, and it even goes for Ant-Man too. So let's say you're giant, right? You eat something. Does that, whenever you shrink down, stay proportionate to your stomach, or do you think it still stays like the same size? So let's say you're small. You eat a grape, a grape that's bigger than you. It's still it's big, but when you grow, does it get bigger or does it stay the same? How do y'all think that works when it comes to like eating big or small?
I would assume that your body adjusts. And that whatever's in your system adjusts accordingly. If I had to guess, just for the sake of ease. So, like if you were small and you ate a grape and that grape was huge when you were small and you ate it, then you would still be just as full whenever you were big again. As opposed to you getting big again and now your body thinks you've only eaten a grape. Like, I think that it's still proportionate. But
I think, what if the food just gets absorbed? Like, if you're that big, you're going to be, like, your body's going to be needing a lot of calories just to, like, function.
And that's another thing. Like in her situation, we don't know how any of that works. So it could be a situation where her body processes food differently because the food is what's causing the mutation.
So I was actually wondering about that, since I know we're skipping a little bit ahead, but in episode 8, you see her shrink because Sam essentially made her feel small. And I'm wondering if, because the whole time she's like, I don't have an eating disorder. This is just for my power. I don't have an eating disorder. But I think she did have an eating disorder. And when she would vomit to throw up, that's her feeling small. So she's shrinking, and she's saying she's getting that confidence when she's eating. And that's why she's getting bigger.
That's what I got out of it too on that last episode. That's the same way I understood it then as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought it the whole time was her eating, but it's actually her emotion that's what's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
See, and I thought it was like the crying acted as a purge.
No, I think it's the way she felt. Like she felt small, so she got small.
Because Sam literally was like, "You're not a hero. You're just not a hero." And then
right. And so when she really wanted to be a hero, she got bigger because she really wanted to save everybody else. So
because she needed to save take Sam out. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes, that is so that's what it is. And that's one of the things that in this very short amount of time, we see a few people's powers grow significantly. So we see
Marie's power changed every episode.
And we're going to talk about it. That's why I have not been calling her a bloodbender. I've been calling her a blood witch. Because she's not just a bloodbender.
Yeah, she got that anime pro tag boost like every episode.
Yeah, she really did. The main character right there.
Yeah, that's why. And I mean, they've like the show like mentioned the uniqueness of her power and how like Dr. Cardozo was like, no, I need her.
Right.
If we gonna make this thing happen, like that's who I need. And Newman was like, oh, I thought it was just me. I thought I was the only blood witch. And and we'll talk about that too. Because you have no point of reference for that, Brandon. But Newman is very important.
Gotcha.
So we are to the point where everybody wakes up and they have no idea what happened. So evidently there was a party that everybody, I guess, went to and enjoyed. And they are all under the impression that it was Rufus who did this to them because in the videos they see that Rufus was at the party. So
he got that roofie power.
That is why, that's why his name Rufus.
Right.
And so they wake up, they have no idea what's going on. Sam shows up and he's like, "Oh, they made you forget." Okay. Well, that's not great, but I hope you remember me. So
yeah.
And then Dr. Cardozo meets with the dean, and he's like, "Yeah, I have perfected the virus." So I at first they didn't. Did we? I don't know if we knew it was a virus until this point, because I thought that earlier we were under the impression that they were trying to create something to control the super people, and I don't know if it became a virus over time or if it just kind of accidentally became a virus, and then Dean Shetty was like, "Oh shit," or if a virus was the plan the entire time.
I wonder if it's because Brink was originally using it so that he could get like a steroid shot for Compound V to like promote like more powers. And then once it switched over to Shetty, she's like, well, what if, she had her own agenda, can use it for this.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I guess technically this is another way to control soups. You just controlling the population. But at this point, we don't know that.
But she was going for straight like she wanted them like wiped off the face of the earth.
I think that was her own agenda because Vought didn't know that was going on. I think Vought knew what Brink was doing, which was like the amplifying the V. But once Brink dies and Shetty takes over, this is like she's doing this all under the radar.
Yeah, right. Because Vought wouldn't want that because the heroes are the reason they have the money.
Exactly.
So, they definitely wouldn't want this.
And that's why they sent Jeff. I'm pretty sure that's why they sent Jeff into Godolkin, like what's that called? Marie's PR guy.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
this is also one of my favorite episodes because we get the puppets too.
Yes. Um. So yeah. Sam. Well, first they go to Rufus because they're like, "You fucker, you did this to us," and Kate just kind of lets that happen. But that's fine. So
Is it? Is this the episode? That might be next episode where she explodes his dick. Is this the next episode?
That was before. It already
no, that's
happened.
that already happened.
That was like episode
Oh,
two.
okay, okay.
Yeah, that was early.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that it actually when that happened, that's the thing that happened that made me think, oh, Newman. Because
I hadn't even made that connection yet at that point.
Yeah.
so yeah, I made it then because Newman's power, whenever she uses it, people have a nosebleed first, and then their head explodes every time. And so
Gotcha.
whenever she exploded his dick, I was like, oh, I didn't know her power. Like, I guess I knew her power could do that, but it didn't occur to me that her power could do that. And so that's it. I didn't necessarily think, oh, she and Newman are the same thing, but it made me think, oh, that's Newman's power. And so I
Yeah.
was
No,
brought to
I
Newman.
didn't.
But yeah, like I didn't immediately, I didn't think Newman was a blood witch. Like, I'm glad we learned that because I
Yeah,
wondered
I
about
didn't
that.
make that connection
Yeah.
until Newman said something.
I wonder if Marie is even stronger than Newman because it looks like
I think so.
Newman has to actually like see the person to blow him up because she had the fight in the boys where the guy covers her eyes and she wasn't able to use her powers.
Yeah.
So she had
Like,
to
I
like
think,
peel the hand off.
yeah, like her power is very much like she has to look at somebody because her eyes like go white
Yeah,
whenever
she has
she
to do
does
the
it.
Undertaker thing.
Yeah. So she has to like be looking at you in order to do it. And we don't know like the extent of her because again, we didn't know she was a blood witch. We just thought that she made people's heads explode, but we didn't know that she did that through blood magic. And so I'm sure that we'll find out some more about Newman's powers as we move. But yeah, we gonna talk about Newman today because yeah, that warrants some discussion. So we see the puppet massacre.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, puppets are always funny, and the thing is, did you know that like in your head was that actually happening or was that a hallucination?
I thought it was a complete hallucination. I thought it
Right.
was gonna I thought that's what he wanted to do. I didn't realize that's what he was actually doing.
I thought that it was actually happening. Like him seeing everybody as puppets was because usually his hallucinations presented as real people, but the puppets, were kind of just wherever. And
It gave me
we had seen puppets before because we see that whenever in The Boys, when Black Noir has
that's what I was getting a reference.
Mhm.
he
Yeah.
sees them as puppets. And so that's kind of a reference. Like The Boys has used puppets in this way before.
I
And
thought Black Noir saw them as animatronics or cartoons, right?
Yeah, it's all
I'm
like
sorry.
little
Yeah, he
cartoon
saw them as
animatronics.
cartoons. Yeah, that's 100% what happened. He
Dude,
saw them as
when
like
he
animated
when
animals.
he was a puppet, when they were puppets and like he turned that dude around and like turned his head around, opened his head up and like took his brain out. I was like, yeah, this must be what he wants to do. And then like he ripped that dude's arms off and put both his arms in his mouth. I'm like, that must be what he wanted to
It
do.
was fucked up, bro. The dude that was like, I have two daughters. Her name is this, her name, and then he's like, yep, rips the jaw off. I was like, okay, Sam, man, he needs his meds. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, they should have kept him locked up.
Not for real. Were there some pills in his cell or something like that you could take on the road? Like, damn.
Yeah, he need that because he snaps out of it and you could just see all the bodies around him. And I'm like, yo, that is wild to just think somebody could do that to somebody else.
Yeah.
Steady got me fucked up though. She finds Sam's location, but she sends like a regular SWAT hit squad. Like this dude didn't just take out a whole squad. like who took that mission, man?
Well, and because whenever they like recaptured him the first time, like what what did they do then? Because I know that
They banked on
They got that
Andre.
mask
I mean,
on.
Andre and
because that's what I was gonna say. I
Kate.
know that Andre and Marie definitely helped, but
Oh, that's right.
like they needed some trank darts or something.
Yeah.
Obviously, like his power is power. Like you don't get close. What?
I bet you someone brought that up too. It's like, can we do this without getting close to him? And they're like, nah. Like this is just how
No,
we're gonna do it.
let's drop down from a helicopter and get real close to him. And it's like, because that's the thing. If the first person I see him rip open, I'm unloading.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm
unloading
admitting
that
that.
bitch. Like,
I'm like, pull me back up. Pull me back up.
yeah, that whole like take him alive, absolutely not. Like,
Yeah,
y'all
I
gonna
would have ran out the other way.
y'all gonna have to study his motherfucking corpse because no, I watched him rip my friend in
Coworker.
half. Like we had coffee this morning.
Ripped his brain out and showed it to him. Like, come on, bro, that's crazy.
Like he ripped his arms off and fed them to him. No, absolutely not.
You know, Sam played Mortal Kombat growing up, man. He was in the
for sure.
machines.
There was definitely fatalities right there.
Yeah, like, yeah, nah. But also, like, I'm not built to be on a tactical unit like that.
I know, because I'm gonna be asking questions like, why are we doing this? Like, we just saw
why
this.
we getting close? Yo, we got real superheroes. Like, can we send one of them?
Right. Again, like my thought, like, if I'm in that situation, if he don't kill me first, it's not. I'm putting him down.
Dude, that's when you lay down and just hope he doesn't see you.
Like I said, I'm putting him down because I don't know if he's bulletproof or whatever, but I don't know that any of those dudes.
No, because then you find out he is, but he is, but yeah, you find out he is bulletproof,
and now he's pissed at you.
That's why I'm just run.
But my thought is like, why didn't you gas him? Like that's what you do in that situation. If you don't have trank darts, you gas him because nah, absolutely not. There's no way. But anyway, the puppet massacre happens, and then we find out that Marie loses because Marie finds a tracking device in her. And she goes to Kate and is like, hey, I trust you. I just found this tracking device in myself. There's one in you too. What the fuck? And she's like, oh, you weren't supposed to find that.
She's like, get that in there without like any wounds or anything showing. Like, how did they get that in there?
Good.
Their fault. I mean, and like, yeah, if she wasn't a blood witch, she'd have never known about it. Yeah. But yeah, I'm sure that. Oh, good.
I was gonna say we also see Jordan talking to Maverick, and he talks about how sometimes he likes to go in the girls' locker room and watch them. She's like, then sometimes I go in the guys' locker room as well. And then you also see him talking to his girl, the llama. It's just like that dude got a problem.
He's like, don't kink shame me.
Yeah, he's like, no kink shame me. That dude got a problem.
He's just living life, man.
No, he really is.
And yeah. But so yeah, that's when we really find out that Kate is involved. Like that's what we need to, like, if you ever had doubts or if you ever like weren't sure, that's the thing you're like, there it is.
Yeah.
And so we see that she's involved. Marie gets her memory wiped again, and they find Rufus because they're pretty sure he's behind it because he has done this. Like, they have watched him black people out. And so they show up at his house, and luckily for him, Emma calls and is like, hey, it's Kate, because Sam,
my boy's about to die.
Yeah, Sam happens to know that Kate is the reason this happens every time, because Andre is about to put him the fuck down.
Right.
Like, Andre's had enough. And yeah, Andre, he came in there ready. And then luckily Kate is feeling, Kate's not going to try to allow him to die this time. And so she gives him his memories back, and then Andre is like, you're a fucking monster.
Oh yeah, she is though.
Like
She
Andre
really
is, well, yeah, and like Andre is not okay.
No.
You know what's not okay? They literally let homeboy Dusty die, and no one gives a fuck. Show ended. Dude still dead. The dude that hosted all the parties that went with them to like the dream world.
That's on the next episode. But yeah, that's real messed up.
Yeah.
He like went in there with them, and my boy got splattered on the wall. Nobody
No one talked about it. No one.
How the show goes.
They were at his house, bro.
Yep. Collateral damage.
Yeah, they was never like, yo, what happened to this dude?
Didn't we come in here with like another person?
Yeah.
Say, well, they were having memory issues, so whatever. So in the next episode, Kate returns everybody's erased memories, and she's been using her powers too much, so she starts to have a seizure, but they get her right, and Dr. Cardoza is able to, get the soup virus where it needs to be, but well, not necessarily where it needs to be, but like giving them a flu and like making them sick, making them not okay. And the dean is like, can we make this a little more potent? Like, just make it a little more saucy. Give a little more before we take this to the boys upstairs. And now everybody's trapped in Kate's mind. And we see Soldier Boy. Now, Soldier Boy is from the latest season of The Boys, and Jensen Ackles deserves.
Oh, wait. Brandon, how did you feel about just a small little smidget you've seen of Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy?
I thought he was good. I mean, I've seen, of the boys that I have seen, it's been mostly of him. So I was kind of familiar with him a little bit already.
Okay. I was completely shocked when I saw him show up. I did not expect that at all.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and the way he showed up, I was like, oh, okay. Like, they just wanted a cameo. Like,
right.
He was still on set.
Yeah, they had the money. He was already there. Yeah, like, we'll just throw that in there. Like, just for us. Like, that was literally, that was like a nostalgia trap almost. Like that's fine. I'm glad, because I want to see more of Jensen Ackles. So like,
I love
so
his character.
good.
His character is so good.
Yeah.
He's like, what you gonna say, Chris?
I was like, how old is Kate that she's fantasizing about Soldier Boy? Didn't this dude disappear in like the 70s or something like that?
That is a very good point. That is a very good point.
I mean, it's
probably like a celebrity movie star.
Yeah, that's what I assumed. It's
from like 30 years ago.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if your parents' stuff is all you got, or if you just find somebody from any time period who does it for you or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, it does it for
He was
like the light switch.
Yeah, it's like I thought I had to jerk off.
Yeah, and I will say, Brandon, that Soldier Boy just going, that was a little excessive.
Yeah.
Like that was I was like, okay, we can be done with that.
It wasn't even scripted. I bet it was like, just go off, just improv it.
I'm sure that Jensen. I'm sure they just let Jensen fly, and I think that's probably why it lasted so long. But yeah, I was like, okay, we get it.
My boy was like, I'm not the. He's like, I bleed red. He's like, not that commie red. I bleed that red, white, and blue.
Yeah. All that was like, it was good, but yeah, I got to a point where it was like, we can move on.
Yeah, then my boy got took out by the lightning,
got zapped,
and he was there to kind of explain the deal.
Yeah,
and he was like, those lightnings, that's not lightning, that is capillaries exploding or whatever, and
which was a pretty clever way for like plot exposition. Like,
oh yeah. Like I thought it was great, and then he was like,
entertaining.
"What you're gonna have to do is bow." I was like, "Oh, well,
yeah,
right on time." So he is able to explain to them, like, if she goes catatonic, you all do too. Like you either you get out or you're lost forever. And then Sam and Emma know each other biblically.
Puppetly too,
and that was just young people.
That young love.
Because and that conversation was like awkward and realistic. Because she was like, "Do you want to do this?" And he was like, "Oh, I absolutely want to do this. I just haven't before." She
My
was like,
boy
"Oh."
saw her as a puppet. He was like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "No, my boy, not okay."
He's like, I've never been better.
Yeah,
That was funny.
My boy.
Whenever like she was like puppet Emma was like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
So my dude is not okay right now.
Like, yeah, I'm good. But yeah, he's never just okay. But we then see in the mind that how Kate kind of got where she is. We see Kate's history. We see the situation with her brother and how her powers manifested. We see her mom basically being like, I don't feel safe with her. And then we see how she meets Dean Shetty. And then we see how she meets Luke. And then that's when we find out that Andre and Kate been fucking for a while.
That's wild.
Really be on, man.
And Andre was like, or Luke was like, I thought you were my friend.
And then he splattered old boy on the wall.
Yeah. Which sucks for him. Like, he was literally just there. And
he
just
didn't want to be
caught
there.
astray. Like, he was like, y'all are in my house.
Right.
And, yep, died. But I guess that's what happens. And so, we see some of everybody's, issues, because that was what we see happen with Andre, which I guess, Kate's in the wrong, and this was happening in Kate's mind. So, whatever. And then we see Jordan's memory of how Jordan becomes Brink's favorite, and how Brink is basically like, hey, long as you protect me, we're good. So we good? And Jordan was like, yeah, because we see very early that Jordan is, very much thinking about Jordan, and that Jordan trying to be number one, that Jordan will do whatever it takes to get to the top. All of these things, because Jordan wasn't necessarily mad at Emma for not telling the world that Jordan was involved because it was the right thing to do. Jordan was pissed off that they were moved down to 5.
Right.
And Jordan was like, what the fuck? Like, you need to tell the people that I was involved. And I don't know if Marie said this, but I'm sure Marie was like, and you wouldn't have done that. No, that's not, you wouldn't have done that. If you were in this same situation, no, you'd be riding the wave. So, think what you want. But, we see that. And honestly, whenever Andre was kind of like attacking Jordan, being like, oh, so you've always only been out for yourself. And Jordan was kind of like, yeah, I feel shitty about it, but we didn't know we didn't know what kind of person Brink was. We didn't know about all of this shit unless Jordan did know about all this shit.
And from like Jordan's perspective, Brink actually kind of like treated Jordan with the respect and like allowed, like, because Jordan suffers from like a lot of gender identity issues throughout the show, and like Brink accepts
we see Jordan's parents at the gala.
Yeah.
Because Jordan's parents are like, can't you just be a boy?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
what the fuck?
Her dad was wild.
Yeah,
it was like, I'm still the video game playing person that you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like So that's another, we see some of the trauma that is involved with that. And so that's another thing that we see, is that these professors, the dean, like, these are master manipulators, and these are people that are just taking advantage of these young people in the worst way, just like getting close to them, leading them to believe that they actually care about them and that they actually want what's best for them. And, all of that, like, just, it's just so terrible. And
these teachers are good at their job though, because they did mention that the purpose of Godolkin was to study the students themselves.
yep. And we're going to talk about that. We're almost there. So we see then that Marie kills her parents. Like, we see that memory. And we see Marie like kind of have a conversation with her sister. Like, her sister's like, no, you meant to do that. And she was like, I really didn't. And I'm really sorry. Like, I didn't, that was not what I wanted. And they finally do convince Kate to wake up. So everybody wakes up, everybody's good. And then Sam comes in, and like I said, it's on site. Sam is like, you, and is about to put her down. And Emma's like, hey, let's not do that. Like, let's bring it down. Sun's getting low, buddy. Sun's getting low.
That's a good reference right there.
And then Kate tells everybody everything she knows about the woods, and Dr. Cardoza ups the dose, kills somebody, and Shetty's like, can we make it contagious? Like, Shetty initially is like, oh shit. And then once like Shetty gets over that, she's like, all right, can we give this to everybody? Like,
she was the worst.
Can we spread this out? Yeah, and that's the thing. You don't find out that's why you don't like anybody.
Yeah.
Liking somebody's not safe, because we really thought that Shetty was okay. And then she's not. And we find out why she's not. So then we see them, we see the virus kind of in effect. So we see there are several people in a room and one person with the virus. And it's just, it's making them in a bad way. And Shetty's like, it's not contagious enough. I need you to make it airborne. We need to be able to, kill everybody with this. So
yeah,
make it happen. And the Jordan and Marie break into Dean Shetty's office to get the evidence that they need, because they want to give it to Newman, because Newman is the popular congressperson who has the platform to actually expose this. And they know that Vought will spin a story, and so they figure we have to get this to somebody who's got some weight that can actually expose this whole operation. And so that's when they learn about the fact that Dean Shetty's family was on the plane. Now, Brandon, the plane that's being referenced is seen in The Boys. We see a scene where Homelander and Queen Maeve, who's the Wonder Woman, they are on a plane, and this plane is going down. So Homelander just decides to let the plane go down. And
even though he can save it.
And everybody on that plane is aware. So
they see him, both of them on the plane.
Yeah, like they watch this happen. They watch Homelander decide to just let this plane crash. And Queen Maeve is like, can we at least save the children? Mm-hmm. Like, there are children aboard this plane. And whenever people start trying to talk to Homelander, his eyes glow, and he's like, everybody sit the fuck down. Yeah. Or I will laser you right now. Like, Homelander is just ready to let everybody die. And I think it may have been a situation where like there actually were terrorists on the plane. And so Homelander like lasers the terrorists, but ends up lasering the controls, or lasers the pilot or something. I don't remember exactly, but it's Homelander's fault that the plane is going to crash.
Gotcha.
And so Homelander's like, yeah, sorry, plane just got to crash. And I can't have any survivors knowing what happened. I can't have any survivors knowing what happened. So Homelander is like, yeah, everybody sit the fuck down and just let this happen. And so there is a video of that, because Queen Maeve uses it to blackmail him. Queen Maeve,
which is crazy. That's like a season 1 thing, and it continued throughout a lot of the season. Like, came back up in season 3.
Yeah, because Homelander's whole thing is his reputation and him being, liked by the world and all of that. So that's kind of what keeps Homelander in check, is potentially exposing him for being a piece of shit, because he's, the number one guy, and so he's got to put on this face and all that. So it has been used to blackmail him. And so there is a video of it, like it exists. And obviously, Dean Shetty is aware of the fact that Homelander's, behind it.
Right.
And so that is the reference of the whole plane crash and Homelander's involvement.
Gotcha.
So that is why she wants to kill all of them. Like, she's like, Supes are just the worst. And because Homelander is the representation of Supes. For this world. And so she's like, yeah, we just need to get rid of all of them. Like, all of them are animals and terrible people, and they're the worst, and we have to get rid of them. So that's kind of where her motivation is coming from, because she lost her family due to Supes.
Got it.
And so Dr. Cardoza just drunk as fuck and in there just babbling about the virus, just in there just salty. And he pees in her drink, hoping that she drinks it or whatever. But yeah, he's a mess, because he is obviously feeling very guilty, because he's like, this is not what I signed up for. This is not what I wanted to do. This wasn't what I'm here for. And he was like, I want to call it off. And Dean Shetty was like, hell no, you're not going to call it off. Because if you call it off, I will blame you for it. So as far as everybody knows, Vought is going to be under the impression that you created a virus that is going to destroy their number one asset. Right. So shut the fuck up and finish it. And so, yeah, we see the Shetty, blackmail for everybody. And so then we see that she goes to Mallory. Now, Mallory is another person from The Boys. Mallory is kind of like, higher up in the, the letters, the FBI, the CIA. She's high up in that world. And she, has always kept an eye on the supers, and she's always been in the know. Like there's always that person. Right. Like every show has that. Like, so in The Equalizer, the like older lady that Denzel goes, like that person.
Gotcha.
So and she's been in The Boys, this whole time. So Dean Shetty goes to her and is like, hey, I need you to help me spread this. Because we both have some superhero hurt, and so yeah, you're gonna help me spread it. And Mallory's like, hell no, I'm not doing that. I'm not in that business. And Mallory puts a tail on her, because obviously, Shetty is dangerous, because Shetty says, I'm doing this with or without you. It would be a lot easier with your help. And Mallory's like, nope, that's a terrible idea. There are way too many innocent people for me to sign off on that. Right. And so, she puts a tail on her, which ends up being irrelevant. Or so we think. We don't know. But so far, looking real irrelevant. But another thing that happens, Sam is in Emma's room, and Emma says, don't leave, because nobody can see you. They will lock you back up. Do not leave. And he hears a commotion in the hallway and finds a slip and slide party. And, they're just having a good time, just being young and free. Because one of the people says to him, like, we're superheroes. We can do whatever we want. And it's like, now you've set this young, impressionable boy on the wrong path. And so they have the slip and slide party. And then, Rufus, just still being a piece of shit, is like, hey, we're going to a party. And he's like, I need to wait for Emma. And he's like, yeah, she's going to be there. So, yeah, just come with us. It's like, what? You don't need... Okay, whatever.
Gotta be impressed with how much of a piece of shit Rufus is. Like, after getting his dick blown off, he still doubles and triples down on being a piece of shit. It's like,
oh yeah, like they make you not like he got his dick blown off, and they don't want you to feel any sympathy. Like they want you to know like he deserved to get his dick blown off. That's what the moral of the story is. It's like, oh, he earned that.
Right.
And so we see Polarity having an interview, and he has a seizure. And his seizure is it's a problem because, you know, he's got magneto powers. And so in the ambulance, he's having the seizure, and it's causing shit to go awry.
Almost took that lady out.
He did. And it's a good thing Andre was there to, you know, kind of keep a lid on things, because if Andre hadn't been there, well, yeah, it would have been.
They would have been that submarine.
Yeah, it would have been SOL. Like, it would have been real bad.
First responders in the boys' world got it rough, man. Rough,
real rough.
See the worst stuff.
So, yeah, he suffers a seizure, and then we see Newman being interviewed, and we see that all the young soups are there to cause a scene. We, you know, get some, you know, riot vibes from these soups who
little January 6th.
This is, wouldn't try to throw any dates out there, but
Rufus had that bright red hat. We knew what it meant.
Yeah, he had the hat. Yeah, him having the hat, I was like, all right, we're being heavy-handed, which is fine. I support it, but yeah, they were like, no, everybody get it. The government, superhero movie, like everybody get some satire. Like we gonna talk about it. It happened. We gonna talk about it.
Yeah,
and we're gonna do it in a very entertaining way. And so, yeah, we see Newman. She's pretty prepared for, you know, all of the shit. And, you know, eventually her security's like, no, we got to get her out of here. And luckily, Marie is able to get in there and meet her. And she's like, oh, Marie, let's go to a quiet place to talk. I've been wanting to talk to you. And that is when we find out that Newman is a blood witch, and that's how her powers happen. We find out, because in the stuff about Newman's past, we already knew. We already knew that Newman grew up in like the home for soups, and that she, you know, had issues with, you know, being an orphan and all of that. Like we knew about that. And so this is where this is one of the first kind of discussions that I wanted to have. So Newman says to Marie, hey, you need to play the game, because you think you have a little platform now, you think you're gonna, you know, get stuff done, and this is not the way to do it. You do not have enough clout yet. You are not in a place where you are going to be able to get anything done, and so you need to play the game. You need to play by their rules so that you can get to a place where you can actually do some things. So you need to shut the fuck up and be on your P's and Q's. And then once you become the first Black woman in the 7, then that is what power looks like. But this little platform you have right now, they will crucify you without thinking about it if you make the wrong move. So be smart, girl, is basically what Newman says to her. What are your thoughts on that? Like, let's say you are Marie in this situation. What do you?
She just told her. She told her to shut up and dribble. She told her to shut up and dribble. That's really what it is.
Yep.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's better for her to kind of speak out on her own, though. I think she should have still continued to speak or talk. But also, we know in this world, if she would have spoke out, that would have been the end of her. Which, I mean, it was basically the end of her at the end of the season anyway.
I think with knowing, like, what, like, the presence of the boys like is pretty prevalent. Like the actual, like they know Starlight and like all this stuff has been exposed. So she really does have a platform. Like if she speaks out now and she has people that will back her on like what she says.
Yeah,
So I think
but
she
she
should
also
just
be taken out. She would have got took out though either way. But we found out she got took out either way.
Yeah.
What do you think Newman is actually like looking out for Marie, or do you think she sees
No.
Marie as somebody that could jeopardize her like her disguise as like a non-soup?
Jeopardizing for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's hard to tell. Yeah, I think that Newman was definitely I think Newman saw a lot of herself in Marie, and so Newman did genuinely care about Marie and did want Marie. Like, I think the whole reason they had this conversation was because Newman wants Marie to, like, move in the right direction and be able to get things done and do stuff. Because in The Boys, it takes a while before we find out that Newman is a piece of shit. Like, it takes a real long time. Matter of fact, it's not until we find out that she's the one popping heads that we find out that she's a piece of shit. And she's only kind of a piece of shit because she's not, like, they based her on AOC very clearly.
Yeah.
But, with The Boys sprinkled on her because, nobody's clean in The Boys.
Of course not.
She was also raised by master manipulator Edgar, who, in case you didn't know, Brandon is like the head honcho CEO of Vault.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's played by Giancarlo, and that's just masterful. But yeah, so I don't know how I feel about where Newman stands on the Marie thing, because I want to believe that Newman really does want what's best for her, really does want to help her, and really wants, like, Marie to be able to make moves and do things. Like, I don't think that Newman sees Marie as an obstacle. And especially after the conversation that they had, I think that Newman very genuinely wants Marie to be all right.
I feel like she's looking out for her daughter. I feel like is like her number one like priority. Newman is. Yep. And she sees like Marie, especially like Marie wouldn't have even been in Godolkin if not for Newman's interference and sponsoring her.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a part of why I think that Newman is like, no, I really, like, I want her on my team. Like, I want to be able to mold her. And maybe, that's the manipulation piece of it, is that Newman was like, if I get my clutches into her, then she can do my bidding. And, she can work for me at the end of the day. But I still kind of like Newman. And I'm not gonna say I'm Team Newman.
Wishing the best.
Right. I don't hate Newman. There are a lot of people you hate in this show. I do not hate Newman. And so they have their talk, and they bond over their similarities, but Newman does go straight into politic mode. And whenever she tells her, like, hey, they have a bioweapon, Newman is like, oh, we'll take it from here.
Yeah.
We'll handle it. We'll take care of it. Because when Marie was like, what the fuck does that mean? She said, it means we'll take care of
it. Don't ask questions.
Don't ask questions. Like, that was a stay in your lane. Like, don't
checked.
And then she had the conversation of like, you need to play the game. Like, that's when they had the shut up and dribble conversation. So back at Shetty's house, Shetty initially kind of we were led to believe that Kate was led to believe that she was being honest and genuine and that everything was fine. Because whenever Shetty started talking, and then Kate was like, oh my God, you're telling the truth. She was like, oh, you really do care about me. You really do want what's best. You really are going to protect me if we leave. And then, later, Kate, makes her tell the truth and, everything about Godolkin. Like the fact that it is a front for, superhero experiments, figuring out what makes them tick, all of that. And we see Kate make Shetty kill herself, and Marie is like, I can save her. And she's like, no, don't save her. Also, sorry that you're having to relive this trauma. Sorry about that.
Right.
Like, didn't mean to put you through that again, but no, let that bitch die. Like, do not save her. And we also see Newman collect the virus, and she, make sure Dr. Cordoza is like, so this is all of it, and you're the only person on Earth that can replicate this. Yes, cool. And then he gets blasted.
That's
that's her power, or that's how her power presents.
I was like, let's get to the last episode though. I've been waiting to talk about that last episode.
So, in the last episode, Dean Shetty's dead, and we need to talk about what we gonna do next. So Sam and Kate are like, we're just gonna free everybody in the woods, nice and easy. And Andre finds out what is causing the seizures.
Yeah, it's like you let all these people loose, and that's going to cause chaos. And Kate was just the leader. I'm like, yo, this is not a good idea. But
one of the things that I thought was interesting was that we physically saw Kate's heel turn, because the more red her eyes got, like we saw her, like we watched her become kind of the villain in the show.
Full Magneto, man.
Yeah, and I mean, we see how she got there. We see why it happened, and we see that her powers had been suppressed all this time, and that now she's able to like let them loose and all that. But the more she uses them, it's causing issues. But yeah, like I think that's how I saw that. I saw that was like a representation of like her heel turn, like us seeing her eyes be physically red.
Yeah,
because that's villain shit. And so
she let the craziest guy go and took away all his emotions, which was like, that's rough for him because he does not give a damn. And he's going to do whatever he can.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He was kind of already there, but and that's the thing. The fact that his hallucination was trying, because before this, his hallucination was saying, "Yeah, go kill him." Go, his hallucinations were leading him in the wrong direction. But this time, the fact that his hallucination was saying, please stop. Like, you need to not do this. And Kate was like, do you want me to help you?
Yeah.
Do you want me to help you? I can help you. I got it right here. And, she said, feel nothing. And he was like, I feel empty. It's nice. I was like, that's not good. That's not good at all.
Also, it was pretty cool. Like I said, we've already said it before, but like we see Marie's power like kind of transform this whole time. And on the end, like we see her make like, the blood diamonds. We see her make like she popped Kate's hand off. And then the end we saw Homelander just come out of nowhere. I mean, I know it wasn't nowhere. Like I know Ashley told them to call for Homelander. Like we see him. I thought he was about to help out. Like I did not expect him to laser Marie.
So, now that we're, kind of talking about the end, let's get into that. I wasn't sure. I didn't think Homelander was going to show up. Just because this is a spinoff. Like I didn't think we would act. I thought they may reference him.
Yeah.
I didn't think we would actually see Homelander, but my prediction was that Marie was going to be like the face again, and that either Jordan or Emma or both were going to have to like reap the repercussions, and that Jordan was going to make some offhanded comment again, kind of referencing what happened earlier with Jordan actually being the one who, held off Golden Boy, and you doing like a you haven't changed one bit, you're still only out for yourself. Like I thought that Jordan was gonna like have that conversation with Marie, because Marie was gonna end up like playing the game and being the person that that's where I thought we were going. And so I thought that was going to be them saying, yeah, Marie's not all the way good either, so you can't like anybody. But
no, Homelander told her to be quiet.
Yeah,
don't say nothing.
Nah, she didn't. He low key went like technical foul, and he was like, "Oh, you filthy animal!" I'm like, "What the fuck?"
And
what was that supposed to mean?
And so we see in The Boys that Homelander is embracing his supremacy.
Yeah.
We see that Homelander is like he sees his fan base and is like, okay, white power is my fan base. All right, that's what we're gonna do.
Right.
Yeah, which is scary. Like we saw at the end of season 3 how scary Homelander is, and we still continue to see him, show how scary he is. Yeah, which is also making me look forward to the new season of Boys.
Yeah, but Homelander's supremacy is showing, and it is terrifying. And Brandon, I want your thoughts on the ending.
I mean, I thought it was a good way to end it. I mean, I don't know. I was a little confused, not gonna lie, overall, but I mean, I guess it led me towards, all right, I probably need to watch The Boys a little bit to get a little more context. But overall, though, I thought just for the spinoff, I thought it was a good finale. But I feel like I need a little more context for it to like hit a little harder. Because like the Homelander part again is just, it's hard for me to I know that from the pop culture, like I know, like you said, like with the white power, and I know what he represents, and I know what they're trying to do, but it was just the context a little bit. For the little stuff, I didn't know as much.
Now, I will say, I know that they said that the ending of this season leads directly into The Boys season 4, and then the ending of Boys season 4 leads directly into Gen V season 2. So it's like these characters, we're going to see these characters again.
Yeah.
In some type of capacity.
Yeah.
So, Chris, I need to know your thoughts. I know you have feelings about it. Like, explain what's going on in your mind for how this ended.
How this ended?
Mm-hmm. Or just the last episode. Just any. Yeah. Tell me what's going on in Chris's head.
I thought that the last episode was a pretty good send off. You got to see a lot of heroes do like crazy stuff, and you got to see all like big grand action sequences. Mm-hmm. But what I really did like though was it connecting to The Boys, and the fact that you see Homelander like essentially like go off on Marie like that and show how like his like hypocrisy, talk about like, because we're talking about soups killing soups, like Homelander's like 3-time 5-time champion over here of killing soups, like
yeah, how can he talk?
Yeah, right. Like,
but I mean that was the whole narrative and the whole like spinning, and like that was all that.
And I thought the segue into Billy actually going into the woods and finding like the deceased Andy in the woods was a good touch, and it's gonna really like show you like, because where we left Billy off, Billy's kind of off the hinge as well. He's like, I got X amount of time to live. I gotta do what I gotta do like now.
So Brandon, for that, Billy Butcher. Well, firstly, I'm not sure if you knew this, but The Boys refers to the group of people who are trying to go against Homelander and Vought and like the whole superhero industrial complex. Like that's who The Boys are.
Gotcha.
Billy Butcher is, the leader or the main The Boys. And in the last season of Dragon Ball Z, he had been taking a temporary compound V. If you take too much of it, then it will basically shorten your lifespan. And so Billy took it one too many times, and now he's on the clock. Like, he does not have much time to live. And so, he's going to do as much as he can while he's still here. And so, yeah, Billy Butcher is like the guy that we see who's on the other end of things, like the anti-superhero end of things, who is just ruthless and does not give a fuck. Like, Billy Butcher is he'll let shit burn. Like, he wants shit to burn, matter of fact. Like, that's the whole reason he's here. Like, he lives by the Wish Creed.
I feel like I've seen him before.
Yeah, so
before this, so
oh, like the actor?
No, like the character. I feel like that sounds familiar to me. Because I saw, is he in the main group? You're saying?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the leader.
Yeah, okay. I feel like I've seen him before. Then.
So he's who brings the boys together, and
gotcha.
Yeah, the one giving orders generally, and all that.
I will say the cinematography in this episode was fantastic. I thought that despite all the grand scenes that was happening, the scene between Sam and Emma, how it was shot, how it conveyed the emotions between the two characters, and it really man, that's rough. That was a rough watch right there.
Yeah, I felt bad. I felt real bad for her. That was tough. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I really love y'all's observation about her emotions kind of determining her size. Like, that's good shit. I did not catch that. Jordan's powers kind of reminded me of Shang Tsung in the newest Mortal Kombat, in that different versions were able to do different things. So when Jordan was a boy, what was Jordan's power? Like,
he was just Jordan invulnerable. He was a tank.
Just strong. Invulnerable. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then Jordan's power when Jordan was a girl was
invisible woman, force field.
Yeah, I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, I took that as sonic blast, I guess, or waves of pushback.
Oh, I forgot to mention for this episode though, Jeff's the PR guy for Marie had one of the hardest scenes. Like, when he sees the soup just running out, and he's like, "Oh, you shouldn't be out here." Pulls out the sonic wave thing.
You found the wrong one. Yeah.
Dude, that shit was fuck. It's like, oh, I guess my cover's blown. That shit was cold as hell.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he didn't play around. And I will say, whenever the siren was activated, that reminded me of X2. Whenever Charles was on Cerebro and he had the, kill everybody order, that reminded me of that. Like, whenever he had the order to kill all mutants, the way the mutants were reacting to Charles on Cerebro, that's what the siren made me think of. And once that siren got turned off, things got real again. Now, I have a theory based on how this ended. So, I'm not sure if this is true just based on how it was worded in the news story, but I think Sam and Kate are dead. Because they were regarded as the heroes of the story. I highly doubt that they are going to drink the Kool-Aid and, submit to Vought's will. And they are far too dangerous to just leave alive. And so, while they were regarded as the heroes or the guardians of Godolkin, I think they're dead.
I think they're on the run.
I think they'll go with Homelander, especially with Homelander's You think that Soup should be, we're stronger, we're better. Like
Good.
I can give you that platform, and I think that's what Kate would like go with.
Well, the reason I'm not sure is just because the way that Kate sees it, like humans are the problem, Vought is the problem. Like she hates all of the involvement with, everyone everyone basically.
Does
Like
she
she
know
has
Vaught's
been
the problem?
I don't think she
I
does.
well, the reason I would figure she does is because she says to Marie, like, you were an experience, like your parents decided to have a drug put in, like that whole thing, like that whole
Right.
conversation of like, you're not a person, you're an experiment, and your parents made the decision to have, compound V put into you when you were a child. And so like that's why I would think she has an issue. And the fact that Shetty told her everything, and she knows that, again, like Godolkin is a front for figuring out what's going on with superheroes. Like I would, and Vought is very behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Vought is still running the show because Vought is the one who put out. Well, the Godolkin University is a training ground for the Seven. Like that, they're using that to determine who's going to the Seven. So there's like a connection there. A very well established and known connection there. And so the fact that Homelander is, very much under Vought's thumb still, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
or at least still going with, Vought's narrative. That's kind of what leads me to that. I would I mean, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if they're still alive, but what would surprise me is if they both are drinking the Vought Kool-Aid and that they're just cool and everybody's fine, because at the end of the day, Sam is still a risk. Like,
Right.
Sam is far too dangerous to just be loose. And
That's
I
true.
would imagine everybody knows that. And then the powers that Kate has and Kate's agenda makes her too dangerous to just be loose. And so it could be a situation where those two are being hailed as the guardians of Godolkin, but are just like being held somewhere, or whatever. And the thing is, because Kate has been manipulated by Vought already, and she's been playing the game for so long, and she's done so much for them, and then realized that it was all bullshit and that she was being manipulated and all that, like it would be really hard for me to believe that she would, under any circumstance, willingly get behind that narrative. And so I think it would be easy for Vought to say, these are the heroes that, kept as many people safe as they could. They put up a great fight, but they, were the heroes of the story, but they died. And Homelander came to save the day at the end of the day.
I can
So
see that. I can see also that because Kate's power is so valuable, that Vought would use her power like, hey, like we're gonna keep you under wraps and under control, but we're gonna be using your power, like whether you like it or not. And the fact that Black Noir isn't officially dead according to the media. They said that he went on a super secret mission, a covert mission, and I think they're gonna use Sam
As the
put
new Black Noir.
as the new Black Noir and
that's a
have
good.
Kate just like manipulate him to basically do her bidding or what the
Oh.
That's a
bot
good
wants to
theory.
do.
Yeah,
And they
that's a pretty
have
good theory.
very similar, like you made the connection with the seeing the animated figures and the puppets. That could be a
Yeah.
way they push that on there. And since Sam doesn't feel anymore, he probably wouldn't be talking much anymore either.
Yeah, because that's another thing we don't know is like, how long do her powers last? Because it sounds like they may last until she decides they don't. Because with the whole like But also we don't know, because it sounds like when she makes people forget stuff, I don't know if that's temporary or not, because it sounds like she had to keep making Luke forget about Sam. Like she had to do that regularly, it sounds like. And so I have questions about, but also she was on the suppressors then.
Mhm.
And she hasn't been. So yeah, I don't know. It's I have questions. But that's what season 2 is for. So, Brandon,
Mm-hmm.
scale 1 to 10.
Still going 7.5. Locking
Okay.
it in. Locking it in.
Okay. Okay. Chris?
I think I'm actually putting it down to an 8.
Okay.
I think that I felt like it was an 8.5 off rip because I saw it as its own individual thing. And that's where I felt like it was excelling as its own product. Like, oh, this is Gen V. This is our own thing. And as much
Yeah.
as I liked the connection to the boys, I felt like that kind of like pulled it back a little bit and was like, oh, this is a stepping stone for season 4 of the boys.
Right.
Okay. Jordan?
I'm still gonna give it 8.5. I think it was still really good. I was almost tempted to give it a 9, but I think the 8.5 is still good. What about
Okay.
you?
I'll do it. I'll give it a 9.
I'll give it a 10.
Now, and again, I will say, like, the ending, it made me feel like I was pissed at how accurate that was. Like, I was like, oh, that's exactly how that shit would have gone. Like, you absolutely, yeah, you blame the colored folks and the girl with the eating disorder for the whole thing, like, because they all got problems. And yeah, you say that the 2 white kids are the saviors, and like, I was like, oh, I hate how accurate that is, but that's good storytelling.
They're like, oh, this
Right.
white girl, oh, that's marketable.
Yeah, like, yeah, she's cute and white, and yeah, they're both cute and white, and they're both connected to Golden Boy, who we have, yeah, oh yeah,
Oh, we can spin this.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the right move. I was like, oh, I hate how accurate that is, but that's because, again, they got me. That is not what I expected. That is not how I thought this was going to end one bit. I was successfully tricked. Like, there was no part of me that thought that was what was going to happen. Like, I knew Marie was going to be okay, and yeah, they got me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna bump my score up to a 9. Like I've just been thinking about it, and yeah,
Mm-mm.
I'm right there with you.
Okay. What did y'all rate the? I mean, it's kind of late, but what did y'all rate the latest season of The Boys, or The Boys so far in
Oh,
general?
that's like that. I would say that last the boys in general, I'm gonna give a 9.5. Season 3, definitely 9.5. Season 3 was amazing.
I think season 3, I would give that a 10 just because how it really got better every season.
It really
And
Mhm.
did.
10 just like was the most like concise. It had a very tight storyline and it followed like it was the most linear one. And I felt like that played to its strength so well.
So,
I think I also give it a 10. I don't think that I have notes. It's very, again, I keep saying it's very well done. Like, it's good storytelling. And again, there's a bunch of, I would say, unnecessary like, stuff,
Scenes. Yeah.
but
yeah.
that just kind of adds to the, like, it adds absurdity to it.
I think of the Seth Rogen scene in season 3 with
Oh
Lady the
yeah.
Mistress.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
That was wild.
yeah, like, what happened to Mother's Milk, yeah, that's rough. But yeah, it's just good storytelling, and the absurdity almost makes it feel less heavy, but it's still really like, these episodes are dense with stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot happening, and it's very well done. And they're doing a great job. I think that they know what they're doing. and they're doing it very well. Because another thing that's really good about it is, from what I know about the comic book, the show is better. Like the show is.
I would agree. I would agree. The
improving.
comic book is good, but I would also say the show did good to like separate themselves from the comics. That they still have that kind of like Marvel, like they still have that linear through line, but they also do a really good job of separating themselves.
I feel like the show is telling a better set of stories, where the comic book leaned further into the gore for the sake of gore. Yeah, like just being absurd for the sake of absurdity, whereas the show is using it as a tool to tell very compelling stories.
Brandon, let me ask you now, does this make you want to go watch The Boys at all, or no?
A limited percentage, sure. But overall, not really. I mean, and I'll say this. I think the biggest thing I've realized in watching this, I don't think I like shows where there's no one with any redeeming qualities, right? When there's just one person and then there's everyone they come in contact with is an asshole, or you're like, all right, are they going to be the person? Like, you know what I mean? And I get why people do like stuff like that, where it's like, who knows who the good guy is? There's no good guy. But I prefer something a little more like, you know what I'm saying?
As a man who likes Superman, Captain America, and Disney Channel, that does not surprise me.
Right. Facts.
Like you want there to be like a good guy who's perfect.
Yeah, I just want some people with some moral, you know what I'm saying? Some moral values. Outside of that.
Well, The Boys has one. You got Starlight. She's the only one that really doesn't have any like bad qualities.
Right.
So okay.
And now Marie, because Marie didn't really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, Marie's there. I
don't know. She should have said Jordan did it. She really didn't do shit. She just ran away.
Exactly. Yeah. Like that was the moment where I was like, oh, well, you're no longer like you're kind of an asshole too.
She got there.
Yeah, she got there. Just not at that moment.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That was some growth that needed to happen. She couldn't be perfect from jump.
I get that.
But
okay.
Yeah. I had a good time.
That it?
Chris, thank you so much for being here.
Oh yeah. It was fun to be
here. It, man.
Great dialogue.
Sure.
Yeah. So people, if you enjoyed Gen V as much as we did, or if you didn't enjoy it, let us know. We already let you know where we at on social media. So yeah, feel free to hit us up. And yeah, I guess that's it. So we'll never duplicate it.
Always appreciate it.
And forever melanated.